This is getting ridiculous. Every time Larian does something, like put out a new game or in this case announces a new game, these gaming journalists do everything they can to smear a company that has succeeded beyond my wildest imagination. Succeeded not because they are selling tons of packs for their game's online modes or copy-pasting annual games with few tweaks and then selling it for a full price. Succeeded because they actually care for what kind of a product they put out. Not afraid to risk it all to put years and years of work into a giant new game in a genre that is anything but popular. And then they succeed to the point of creating a AAA CRPG that would captivate all types of audiences due to how good their game is. Never thought I would see the day in this modern corporations and politics driven AAA industry that a proper CRPG would become such a huge game. Larian showcased how to inject modern politics to a degree to not hurt the game, but instead, in some occasions, make it more interesting due to it. Instead of DEI companies like Modern Obsidian and BioWare serving the quota being slaves to the agenda to the point of hurting their own games. So what am I talking about here, you divine bastards? Welcome to Ramblings of a Madman series. Haven't done these in a while due to no time, but a video popped up in my feed from a gaming channel called Legendary Drops about this new situation, which isn't a situation at all, but just another attempt to besmirch a company that should be praised for what they've created, which is the most important thing. You know, creating games in a gaming industry. Great ones at that. I almost never watch gaming channels, only occasionally open Legend of Total War and imagine playing Total War Warhammer myself because I don't have the time to even think about it. Last time I played it was in December of 2022. Similar story with Zealand and Football Manager, great creator and a game I wish I had the time to play. Both games with scummy developers and publishers unfortunately that are actively ruining them. But I digress. Point is, I stopped watching everything gaming related because I don't trust anyone, least of all gaming journalists, people that don't care about games but care about politics in them or some other things, like in this case use of AI. So the video from Legendary Drops is the first video in a long time that I've opened because it was about Larian. Great video by the way, and I wholeheartedly agree with what was being said there. Link is in the description because good creators today like Legendary Drops need more exposure to educate people on the bullshit gaming journalist industry that is out there today. We need a counterweight to stop spreading projections, lies, and to switch focus on corporations and companies that should be persecuted for their practices. I want to give exposure to such channels, and it makes me happy that creators like Legendary Drops exist. Probably many more that are calling out to the bullshit in the industry. This is why YouTube can be such an important platform. Unlike the gaming journalist, whose name I won't say, but you've probably heard of him, she, it, who knows and who cares. They have done nothing to deserve time from me to investigate what they pretend to be. Reason why I won't mention the name is because if you haven't heard of that useless cunt, then I don't want people to go to their site and give them clicks, which would generate revenue. They are useless when it comes to benefiting the gaming industry, but very useful when there's a need to spread the agenda to besmirch the name of someone that is good at what they do. I want such wastes of oxygen to go under and never come back. If I was a dictator, it would be sorted out because such people actively create problems where there are minimal or no problems, are disingenuous and dishonest, and try to hurt something that is good for clicks, their own exposure, and to serve the agenda. Selfish, greedy, and part of the problem. Do I think Larian is perfect and have never made a mistake? Of course not. That would be idiotic thinking. Big company where people work together. Problems between people will always arise with time, it's inevitable. Especially in this modern day and age where people are so narcissistic and egotistical where even the slightest thing offends them. I'm sure that you'll find an employee that one day went to work in a bad mood because their spouse was unbearable the day before, or their family was being annoying, had to work that day with the person they don't like, butted heads a bit and said to the other person to go fuck themselves. Happens, no biggie, that's what makes us humans. Then we sort it out afterwards, grab a beer and create new relationships based on some sort of respect, as opposed to fake acquaintances out of fear due to having to walk on eggshells whole day every day, not to hurt someone's feelings in the slightest. You find the truth about people and what they are when things don't go someone's way. It's a shortcut to see if they're worth a salt. Of course, not saying to be a dick to someone just because you can, because then you have become a part of the problem. More about calling someone out on their bullshit. Same as calling out these no good journalists. What's the problem? There was an interview with Sven from Larian where there was talk about use of AI in gaming development. I'll share my thoughts on AI in gaming development later. The overall concern for AI in gaming, similar to real life, is that it could cost people jobs, especially artists. It's a valid concern. Imagine what happens when AI becomes an expert in programming languages. It would truly be horrendous. The issue is that the journalist's agenda was to appear like Larian is pushing hard for use of generative AI in gaming development. Exact wording. When the fact is Larian uses AI same as most companies today, and that is as a helping tool to create content. Basically, it's like 3D printing a pen that is then used to draw a picture. That's my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I conceptualize it in my head. The interview was conducted in a way that led to questions like, why use it at all, considering that you said it doesn't speed up things? It's so poisonous to artists and players. You mean to those 72 artists employed by Larian? They employ the whole art company, for fuck's sake. Also, if the use of AI helps them in creating a better product while still doesn't cost anyone their job, it's the absolute perfect way to use it. Larian being scrutinized over using AI correctly, but this journalist keeping its mouth shut when it comes to Black Ops 7. Maybe because Vanguard has their stench reaching journalists too, while being a major part of Activision Blizzard. Maybe that's why there's no outrage over Black Ops. Just assuming, of course. Don't take this seriously because I don't know. Though how big of an agenda push there is today on all fronts, it wouldn't be strange that Vanguard, BlackRock and the others are spreading their reach everywhere to force the agenda push for the purpose of what I believe is the final goal of ideological consumerism, where product quality doesn't matter anymore, but instead what matters is the ideology the product is associated with. Easy profit because quality costs time and money, while emotional association with the ideology grants easy profit based on loyalty and lack of quality control because the buyers are guaranteed. There's a strange lack of outrage from these so-called journalists towards publishers like EA, Take-Two, Activision. Strange, isn't it? Look up major shareholders of EA and Take-Two. BlackRock, Vanguard. Coincidence? Where is the outrage for FIFA, NBA 2K, Call of Duty being games that have done nothing for almost a decade for their single-player modes, while at the same time developing new monetization models to drain people dry by creating bad gambling habits? Where is the outrage towards Ubisoft games? If there was ever a gaming corporation whose entire development might be a combination of copy-paste with the use of AI on top of it, it's most likely them. Where is the outrage towards big corporations using AI on all fronts to accumulate so much wealth while destroying the job market and smaller companies? Sick of spineless dishonesty. Attacking a company that actually creates games worth a damn. Yeah, those people are the enemies clearly. Someone that is great at their job. When it comes to the use of AI in games, I would love to see it used in a certain way. That is for the enemy AI implementation. One of the things that I've noticed in modern games is that balancing and the difficulty design is utter shit. They completely lost the plot in that regard. In that aspect, AI could bring much more dynamic gameplay by utilizing some sort of unpredictable intelligence to challenge the player. Imagine Dark Souls bosses that would make use of such a technology to adapt and overcome. To me, that sounds like a dream come true, making each fight even more significant. Not just cheaply increasing difficulty by making enemies hit harder and boosting their HP bars to infinity. I get the problem of AI. It's a tale as old as humans. New technology that can be used for the benefit of mankind, then used to hurt it due to greed and thirst for power. As I see it, there are two good ways of implementing AI and how it would affect humans. One is the way Larian and many other companies are using it, not to destroy jobs, but to help people do their jobs. Another way is to destroy the job market entirely, let AI take over almost everything, and then bring in something like universal basic income, which would give people that can't find jobs enough money to live. Not just to survive, but to live. There's a difference. In art and creativity focused products such as video games, humans would still be required though, no matter what. That's my layman's take. I'm not educated enough of the options and consequences to pretend to have a solution. Just sharing what I think. Would love to hear what you think. I've learned so much from the comment section on this channel and will always look forward to learning more. Cause if you've been on the channel for some time and can handle my takes, you know where I'm coming from and you know that I'm not afraid to share anything. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll gladly admit it. There's nothing more important than facts, searching for the rational truth and being fair. That way everyone can learn and benefit if they choose to. Anyway, thanks for watching.